In today's K-pop landscape, fame exists in a state of constant motion. It does not pause, it does not rest, and it rarely allows space for misunderstanding to quietly fade. Every moment is documented, analyzed, and interpreted through countless lenses, many of them shaped by emotion rather than fact. It was within this environment that a simple, unconfirmed rumor linking BTS's Jungkook and aespa's Winter emerged and grew into something far larger than anyone could have anticipated. There was no single starting point that could clearly explain how the speculation began. Like many modern rumors, it appeared gradually, forming through fragments rather than facts. A coincidence here, a perceived similarity there. Silence interpreted as meaning something more. In isolation, none of these details held weight. Together, they were woven into a narrative that spread rapidly across social media platforms, gaining momentum not because of evidence, but because of repetition. Once the idea entered public consciousness, it became almost impossible to contain. Screenshots were shared, theories were constructed, timelines were rearranged to fit expectations, and ordinary moments were re-examined with heightened intensity. What should have remained speculation began to feel, to some, like reality. And in that shift, the distinction between truth and assumption began to blur. Jungkook's presence in this situation added a unique intensity. As a member of BTS, his career has unfolded under unprecedented global attention. Millions have watched him grow from a young trainee into one of the most influential artists of his generation. That visibility has created admiration, loyalty, and emotional attachment, but it has also created a sense of ownership among certain corners of the fandom. For some, Jungkook is not simply an artist they support, but a figure whose personal choices feel deeply personal to them as well. Winter, on the other hand, represents a newer generation navigating an industry that has become even more unforgiving. As aespa rose rapidly in prominence, so did the scrutiny surrounding its members. Winter's talent, stage presence, and image placed her firmly in the public eye, but that visibility came with expectations she never publicly agreed to. When her name became linked to Jungkook, she was drawn into a narrative she did not create and could not easily escape. What followed was not just discussion but division. Some fans reacted with disbelief, others with anger, others with unwavering defense. For a portion of the audience, the rumor felt like a betrayal, despite the absence of confirmation. For others, it became a reminder of how unfairly idols are treated when their perceived image no longer aligns with fan expectations. The conversation quickly shifted from curiosity to confrontation, exposing fault lines within fandom culture itself. One of the most striking elements of this moment was the role of silence. Neither Jungkook nor Winter publicly addressed the speculation, and their agencies refrained from confirming or denying a relationship. In a previous era, this might have been seen as standard practice. But in a digital age driven by constant updates, silence is rarely accepted at face value. Instead, it becomes a canvas onto which assumptions are projected. This expectation of explanation revealed a deeper issue. The belief that idols owe the public access to their private lives. Emotional investment for some fans has evolved into entitlement. Support becomes conditional, admiration becomes transactional, and boundaries begin to erode. The Jungkook and Winter rumor exposed how quickly that shift can happen, and how damaging it can be when personal autonomy is overshadowed by public demand. As the discussion intensified, the emotional toll became increasingly visible. Online spaces grew hostile, accusations multiplied, and the focus drifted further away from music, performance, and artistry. Agencies began emphasizing protection against malicious comments, highlighting how speculation often escalates into harassment. What started as a rumor had now created an environment where damage control became necessary, not because of truth, but because of volume. This pattern is not new within K-pop, but its speed and scale have increased dramatically. Dating rumors, whether grounded in reality or not, are often treated as crises rather than personal matters. Idols are expected to embody idealized images that leave little room for humanity. When those images are challenged, even hypothetically, the reaction can be intense and unforgiving. What makes this situation especially revealing is how little substance was required to create such widespread reaction. There were no confirmed sightings, no official admissions, no credible reports. Yet the emotional response was powerful. This demonstrates how modern fandom culture often prioritizes narrative over nuance. Once a story gains traction, it becomes self-sustaining, reinforced by algorithms, engagement, and collective emotion. For both Jungkook and Winter, this moment served as a reminder of the cost of existing in the public eye. Their work, dedication, and achievements were temporarily overshadowed by speculation unrelated to their careers. The conversation shifted away from art and toward assumption, a pattern that continues to repeat across the industry. As time passes, the intensity of this particular rumor will likely fade, replaced by the next wave of online discourse. But the questions it raised remain important. How much access should fans have to an idol's personal life? At what point does support turn into control? And why does silence feel more threatening than misinformation? In the end, this was never truly about romance. It was about expectation, projection, and the uneasy relationship between public figures and those who watch them. It challenged fans to reconsider their role, not as owners of a narrative, but as observers of real people navigating extraordinary pressure. Perhaps the most meaningful takeaway from this moment is the reminder that idols are not characters written for public consumption. They are individuals whose lives extend beyond stages, cameras, and headlines. Respecting that reality may not generate instant answers, but it preserves something far more valuable: dignity. What this moment ultimately revealed was not the truth of a relationship, but the fragility of balance between public interest and personal freedom. In an era where visibility is constant, the expectation to explain every silence has become overwhelming. Idols are celebrated for their accessibility, yet punished when they choose distance. This contradiction sits at the heart of modern fandom culture, quietly shaping how artists are perceived and treated. For Jungkook and Winter, the situation underscored how easily individuality can be lost beneath speculation. Their names became symbols in a larger debate about control, loyalty, and imagined intimacy. Yet behind those names are people whose lives are far more complex than any online narrative can capture. Careers are built on performance, not permission, and artistry does not require constant justification. As audiences move forward, this moment offers a chance for reflection. Support does not demand possession should never erase empathy. Sometimes the most powerful response to noise is restraint, and the strongest form of respect is allowing silence to exist without demanding it explain itself. And in an industry built on visibility, allowing space for privacy may be the rarest form of support of all.